Hi Joe.
Hi.
Welcome back to our 11th episode.
Woohoo!
Yay! So hopefully you've enjoyed our last episode, which is talked about
Love for separation.
a love for separation.
Yes.
Today we're continuing our discussions on this drama, and we'll talk you through 中考 on why people choose to study overseas. Why do you see so many Chinese international students around?
Like me.
And we'll discuss adolescence, young puberties, and we'll also discuss early relationships and fandom. That's the most exciting topic I'm looking forward to. So hopefully you kind of know the story of a love for separation. It's kind of funny because we've talked about a little reunion. That's reunion. This is separation.
I think it's from the same director.
Yeah, and the same author.
Mm-hmm.
So Little Reunion talks about 高考. That's the university entrance exam.
Mm-hmm.
And then this drama is like the first story of the series. Talks about 中考. It's like the high school entrance exam. It's like you have SAT and then you have PSAT. PSAT is like the primer of SAT. So 中考, it's an easy version of 高考, designed for students going towards high school.
Maybe it's not as hard as 高考, but it's definitely more important than 高考, I think.
Yeah, because if you can't go through 中考, you can't have 高考.
Yeah, like if you don't have a good grades in 中考, you might end up in a random, like a school for a specific technology.
Like in a technical school.
Yeah, like vocational school.
Vocational school, yeah. Yeah, so 中考 is like the pre-selection for 高考, and then 高考 selects students again to go to universities.
Right. So do you know what's the difference between 高考 and 中考?
So unlike 高考 that allows students to choose a stream of literature, like arts or like science, 中考 requires students to study the same subjects, doing the same exam sheets. And in fact, 中考 compromises more subjects than 高考. It has Chinese, math, English, physics, chemistry, or political science, or history, political science or history, and PE. Yeah, sorry, biology. I forgot biology. So, Ijo, have you done 中考 before?
I have, yes. In my place, there's 中考 for computer.
In your city? Oh, wow. Can you share some bit of your experience on your 中考?
Well, in my province, it was actually a bit different. So we only have many more exams beyond the ones you mentioned. Except the computer lab. We have the lab experiments. So we got physics, biology, and chemistry. You need to do 3 of them.
Really?
Yes.
That's so hard.
So I remember there's like lots of experiments in a poll, and you just randomly choose one. I think
there's a chance that you can choose the one you're good at.
Just you choose a random one. The system will choose for you.
Oh, the system chooses for you.
Yeah.
Wow. How long do you have to complete the experiment?
It's around 10 minutes.
10 minutes only?
Yeah. I remember the chemistry lab test for me was to make carbon dioxide with acid and marble.
Like to mix them together?
Yeah, to collect the carbon dioxide. Like you do everything, including the cleaning. You start the experiments and you finish it and put all the equipments back.
10 minutes? It sounds like you had a lot to do.
Actually, no. They already prepare all the things for you, but you just choose how many acid you pour into the test tube. and that kind of thing.
Wow.
For the physics, I think the one I have chosen was build up a circuit to make sure the
light bulb lights.
Yeah, and the biology one is use the microscope to show the taste of the cells of onion.
I think I've done that too. Onions is like a really popular experiment for all bio students. I'm sure you've done it like millions times before you'd actually do it in the exam.
I'm quite lucky in my school. We got the actual material to practice, whereas I know one of my friends in another middle school, they only practice with water and marble.
That's a big difference.
And we got like tons of onions every day, onions and tomatoes, just for the experiment taste. When I get back to home, my mom was like, "It smells like tomato and onion." I was like, "Yes, that was the lab experiments."
Were you crying? Were you tearing up because of the onions?
But we got the goggles.
The goggles. So I heard like you also have PE exams.
Yes, we do.
What was PE exam like?
To pass the test, so for boys is 1,000 meters run. And for girls, is 800 meters within 6 minutes to pass the test. For merit is like 5 minutes, and for excellent, like you got 4 points within 4 minutes.
Wow, you really have the vivid memory that you remembers all the details about the exam.
It was quite unforgettable.
So what do you do to prepare for PE exams? Because you got to study, like you got to do your homework every day or do extra homeworks every day, and then you got to prepare for PEs. How come you have the time to do so?
So for my schools, we got the self-study time.
Yeah, that's the time where you're supposed to do your homeworks.
We only have 20 minutes before the self-study time to practice the running, and also there's jumping ropes.
Oh, you were tested on jumping ropes as well. Well, were you tested on long jump?
You can choose either long jump or throw the solid ball. I'm not really good at both. So you can choose between jumping ropes and sit-ups, throwing solid ball and long jump. So I choose long jumps and sit-ups.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So you need to do running, long jump, and sit-ups. So 3 activities. Like you need to be like to prepare for that, to be fit.
I think for me it was alright, but for some of the 学霸, especially people who are not really good at PE, they like to suffer in the practicing.
I'm sure.
Yeah. It's not that hard, really.
Really?
Yeah.
Or I would just like forget about PE, like I would just like not go to high school.
Yeah, because I really had a fun time because we don't have to study. Like, we don't have to sit there, run with all of my classmates. Because we're still young that time. Like, we're adolescents. We have full of energy. So, PE was alright, but the subjects
were not.
Oh, such a pain, gosh.
What was the hardest subject for you?
Probably math.
Math? Of course, yes.
The algebra.
Yes. It wasn't the algebra that really get me. It was the sine, cosine, tan, that stuff. Or like you need to do or like the angles, like they give you a drawing and you need to calculate the angles, that kind of stuff.
I don't think it was that hard in middle school because we just had to touch on it. It wasn't go that far. Yeah, that's true too. But still, like I remember how much I suffered during that time. True. Yeah. Yeah, I really hate to calculate these angles. Like I need to remember like in a triangle, they add up to 180 degrees, or like if 2 things are parallel and then this equal that. That kind of stuff. Like it really gets me. What was the subject that you were most interested in? Probably chemistry. Yeah. I never studied chemistry. Like in my life, I never did. Not even in middle school. No. Science class. No. Well, yeah, no. The only thing I did was like the
molecules, I need to calculate the electrons, protons, and neutrons. So I kind of like study like on the first touch of chemistry, I was like learning the neutron, protons, and electrons, and then that has something to do with the periodic table. So I guess I only learned that much of chemistry. I should have do chemistry.
It's quite fun when you do the experiments.
Yeah. Like when you were sitting the exam, what was that like? Do you feel much of a tension?
Nah, not for me.
Were you panicking?
Nah.
No?
It was quite easy, I reckon. I don't know. Maybe just in my city or
your province, it's a competitive one.
True. Maybe just me then. I remember everyone was like, oh, you're going to 中考. It is so important. Normally, the mom and dad will drive them to the place where they have their exam. But I just bus there by myself. And I was like, so happy about it. Like, oh, finally, I can go through this examination. And then because some of students, so they go to other schools for their examination, but for me, I actually just in my school and in the classroom that next to my classroom. It's like
going home.
Yeah, basically. Yay!
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's so funny. You probably were like the only one who doesn't panic.
I think most of the students in my school don't feel the pressure.
Oh.
Yeah.
Were you too good for it?
We have a really cool headmaster in my school. He was like, just like a normal exams, don't treat it too hard.
Wow, sounds like you guys had a really good fun time. But I talked to some parents like who their kids are going through 中考. Apparently, only 50% can be accepted to high school, and then the rest will have to study in tech schools or tech diploma.
Oh, true, because I remember my middle school desk mate. So he was not really good at study that time. And my form class teacher, so in China, we got a teacher who in charge of communicate with the parents. So we call her main teacher. So the main teacher talked to my desk mate's parents, like, oh, look, he's not really good at study. How about let him become a pilot? And here's a school for pilot. Yeah.
That sounds exciting.
But still, it's not proper high school.
It's like a tech school.
Yeah.
That you specifically studied pilot, but pilot sounds good. Like it's a well-paid job, and it doesn't need too much of knowledge in like chem, English, Chinese, that kind of stuff.
And one of my classmates, she becomes a flight attendant.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Quite good.
And there's another girl. She's really, really rich. The whole family migrate to Singapore. Her family knows that she cannot pass the 中考.
Just for her.
Yes.
Jesus, wow. That's the cost of not passing 中考. Oh, I think when we were doing 中考, the acceptance rates were much higher. Like, I feel like only a small portion of people would go to tech schools.
I think in some schools, yes. But I think in some of the undeveloped places, more people go to the tech schools.
More people go to tech schools, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, for the ones who fail to reach high school benchmark, there is just a total different life path for them.
Yeah. I like to foreign countries. Those kind of job in China get lower paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like everywhere they look at your degrees, whether you're a bachelor, postgrad, or like a doctor.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Like in China nowadays, a bachelor degree is like nothing.
True.
Even master is like nothing.
Yeah. You could be a busher with your master or bachelor degree.
Yeah.
So it's just life is getting tougher here. They need to be more creative about what they want to do.
True.
And so for those who fail the like what you said, for those who fail the high school benchmark, but they are rich or they can have another options of studying overseas, or just people like us who just like really want to have a different experience of education environments.
and make their life easier. Whew.
Make their life easier. Also a bit of fun, like having some fun times.
It's like to get a getaway for students and parents who don't want to follow the Chinese educations.
The decision of studying overseas is when money starts burning.
Oh my, especially European countries.
UK, the US.
Yes. Oh my God, it's like the currency is quite high, eh?
The currency is quite high, and then the tuition fee is also quite high, and then you need to calculate the livings or homestays, everything. Like if you put everything together, you need to have a very well-paid parents to do so. Somebody's gonna like sweat their pants off.
Like in the drama, Xiaoyu's dad, that kind of person.
He is quite rich, so he can actually afford Xiaoyu going overseas. But in Xiaoyu's first attempt to go to Australia, it didn't really end well.
Nah, because of the visa issues.
Yeah.
He works illegally.
I know, doing dishes or like earning secret monies. Yeah.
He knows how difficult his dad get the money, so he was trying to help.
Help him out, yeah.
His dad is rich.
Yeah, and he actually made greater losses because of working illegally. So,
attention please.
Follow the local rules when you're traveling. Reminder. So, do you know where's the most popular destinations for Chinese students?
I guess the US.
Yeah, the US. That's the most popular country. And the second?
Probably UK.
It was actually Australia. Like from my research. Like last year it was actually Australia.
Maybe Australia has a better environment? No, there was a huge fire in the mountain. Why people like Australia?
That was like the biggest thing last year in Australia.
Yeah.
Like everyone thought this bushfire is like the top thing for Australia. Until the COVID came.
True.
No one really remembers the bushfires anymore. So I was like, it's quite funny when you bring it up again. I was like, oh my God, there was actually a bushfire. Oh my God, the bushfire, yeah. But still, Australia has like the urban vibes that I really like.
Okay, bring it back.
And for Chinese, so the first one is US. The second is Australia. If there's no bushfire, everything's good. The third country is Canada.
Canada. Oh my God. Canada is beautiful.
Yeah, I've never been there before, but. And then the fourth country, it's still not UK. The UK is getting really expensive these years. In fact, Japan.
Japan?
Yeah.
Oh yes, I love Japan.
Yes, but still, even though UK is not on the list, UK is still very popular. You probably already know we were all international students. The reason I used were because we're not students anymore.
Ta-da!
Yay!
We don't have to study anymore.
Yeah, it feels great to get money. What was it like when you first arrived in a country that you only heard in books?
Quite tropical.
Oh, yeah. Tropicals, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's quite hot. You feel the heat straight away.
Yeah, it was quite hot. But it's like a big countryside.
It's like a big countryside. Really?
It's like so undeveloped. And the first time I met you guys, so one of my friends was like, well, you don't have free Wi-Fi here. Like, you can't find it everywhere. And I was like, okay.
Sad.
And they told me, and most of the shops close at 5 p.m. And I was like, that early?
Oh no, that's like, so different.
Yeah, super inconvenient.
I know.
Yeah.
That's like a countryside.
I'm sorry, but that was my true feeling.
I felt the same, but except that I think, oh, this place is actually quite pretty, like quite beautiful. Really? Obviously, you don't think so. Oh my God. And then what does it feel like when everyone suddenly speak English to you?
I'm quite used to it.
I know when I first going overseas, I feel so uncomfortable when people speak English to me. Last second when I was on a plane, she still speak Chinese to me. And then next second I'm in the US and then the customs, the officers suddenly speak English to me, like they were asking me, where you're from, what's your name, and then all sorts of questions, and all the complicated ones, especially.
So
it was really, really a big challenge. And then this custom just thinks that I'm too young to travel alone. So he asked so many questions that I couldn't answer.
No wonder, yes. Because you were quite young at that time, eh?
I was like 13.
Wow. Yes, too young to travel alone.
Yeah, and then this officer didn't trust me, so he kind of like he put me like in a little room and detained me for 2 hours.
What?
Because I couldn't speak proper English.
Oh, gosh.
So he thinks I'm kind of like suspicious in some way.
You're only 13.
I really felt something different when I first arrived in an English-speaking country. That I couldn't convey my ideas.
Oh, you were too young, I reckon. For me, when I first going overseas, it's like 16.
Yeah, a bit older.
Yeah, so somehow I find I'm quite used to it. Like
That's
the
good.
code switching in my brain just automatically works.
That's great. That's great. And do you have any like culture clashes? Like when people always say, "Oh, there must be racial discriminations going on in this country." Do you have any experience on that?
No.
No, not for me either.
But last year there was a shooting in Christchurch.
In Christchurch, yeah.
Yeah, so I
It's horrible.
2 blocks away from the place.
Jesus.
Everyone was like, there's someone holding a gun. And I wasn't thinking about shooting. I was like, oh, okay, a random man holding a gun.
Yeah, when I read the news, I was like, shoot, this is happening in New Zealand? For people who don't know about the Christchurch mosque mass shooting, it was a white supremacist deliberately trying to attack the Muslim mosques, the Muslim mosques. So that's kind of like the story background. So it's kind of hard when a foreigner having different religious background or racial background going to a new country. These are some of the potential dangers and challenges they're going to meet.
Yeah. And also, some of our friends or classmates, they cannot get used to in a new environment or different culture. They get depression.
Yes. Yeah. So many people like that around me as well. So yeah. If you're going to a new country, try your best to communicate. It's super important.
Actually, I think if someone from another country come to your country, be nice to them.
Oh, yeah. I like that. Yeah. That's more important.
Yeah. Away from their family and friends.
Yeah. It's very hard. Yeah. In 2008, there were actually 700,000 students, Chinese international students, going overseas.
Wow. Only Chinese international students.
Only from China.
Wow. That's a big number.
That is.
But do you think this number is increasing this year?
Well, it must be steadily increasing before COVID.
All right. When you went to America, you were only 13. So
yeah, that was like travel.
So that's about the age in middle school.
Yep.
So there's another key thing that we couldn't miss from this drama.
Are you going to say adolescence?
Yes, exactly. So compared to A Little Reunion, we see more rebellious, naive, fearless from these students. But the idea of dream is enlarged in this drama than the other one.
Yeah, I reckon. Like they talk about dream more frequently Whereas the little reunions, the children, the girls and boys were like, they have practical steps to achieve their dreams. I think that's kind of different.
I think it's because they are in the age that they can dream what they are dreaming, but I'm not 100% sure.
It was well intended to show, well, young kids can have a dream, and then once they have dream, they are motivated to do something.
I wasn't like that.
You wasn't dreaming at all?
I was trying so hard to study and pass the lab experiments.
Yeah. You don't have time to sleep even, so how come you have time to dream?
Yeah, whereas Duo in this drama, she's like being spoiled. Yeah, she's from a rich family and in Beijing, a big city.
The biggest city. And then another thing is like she doesn't really have the pressure to become what she wants to do. Like she studies because she needs to study, like, but she doesn't know why is she studying.
She studies because her mom wants her to study.
Yeah, but it's like, but when we were in university, like we know we study because we are going to we want to do a job that we like, or like goal directed.
I think she's too young.
She is too young. That's what I mean. There is a bit difference between the young kids in A Love for Separations and the older ones in A Little Reunion.
It's nice to have dreams.
Nice, but yeah. But I hear so many like rebellious teen stories around me, and being in adolescence, I was like trying to think of a definition to describe our adolescence. Maybe because we think that our parents don't understand us enough.
That's what I call 代沟 in Chinese.
Yeah. What does it mean? Like, can you explain it a bit?
So 代沟 means generational gaps. It describes how different age groups viewing things differently because they have different lengths of experience.
Great. Yeah. So we always say moms and daughters have generational gaps. They have 代沟. Your grandparents and so on, you have 代沟.
You know how Chinese people joking about the generational gaps? We always say adolescents buy a pants with a hole and the grandma sewing on it.
Oh yeah. Like 15-year-old boy would like get a pants with like different holes because they are quite trendy.
Yeah,
but
the grandma would be like,
think so.
You're too naughty. Your pants, you broke your teeth.
Exactly. I think everyone has that kind of like rebellious age. Another thing of showing you're rebellious is having early love relationships.
This is a big thing in Chinese parents' side.
Yeah, they really worry about us having early relationships. Before 20, you're not allowed to have a boyfriend or girlfriend. Ever since you pass 20, your mom will be coming for you to say, oh, do you have a boyfriend now? Are you going to marry him? What's his family like?
Like suddenly you need to have a boy.
I know, suddenly, like right before 20. That's not gonna happen, okay? You didn't allow me to have a boyfriend before 20. Like I don't even know how to talk to boys. How come now you want me to have boys like automatically? Doesn't make sense. This is not science. 这不科学.
This is not science. Yeah, this is not the way how things go.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Straight after 20, your mom starts make you to do the speed dating.
Speed dating, 相亲.
Yeah. Another thing from adolescence.
It's fandom. If we're gonna talk about fandom as part of the adolescence, I think I'm still having my puberty.
I'm still young.
I'm still in my adolescence, yes.
Of course.
I'm a super fan for a Taiwanese band, Soda Green, 苏打绿.
Cute.
Cute.
So agree.
Well, I didn't know that I'll have a chance to introduce my idols.
Oh well,
You must have.
it's gonna take years for you to explain who they are.
Oh yeah. So you must know the song "A Little Love Song."
I love it.
Yeah, I just think that they have this autistic aura in them, and their vocal singer, Qingfeng, she just sounds so unique. Like my heart fluttered every single time just for him. That's what a fan would say.
Well, I cannot see your face, but I bet you're blushing right now.
I am blushing.
For adolescents, some of the influence from the adult would be really, really important for them.
Yeah, yes, but no. Yes and no. Do you think the idols can actually make real impacts in young teenagers?
I think yes.
Yeah? Why?
Like, so when I was young, I really like a famous ballerina because they need to keep their weight. So they always go on diet. So I just do what they do. And
oh, really?
I was so skinny and stopped growing.
Oh my god, that's so bad. Okay, that has influenced me. Or maybe there are that I just didn't notice them.
Yeah, but it can be either way. Like if I see Blackpink right now, I'll be like, oh, they're so pretty, they're so skinny. It makes me want to do some sports and lost my weight.
Yeah. Actually, I was looking at Blackpink these days because they have their new album coming out.
Yes.
And then I watched their stage performances, and I really want to imitate them. I really want to do the dances they were doing.
Right. Yeah. I feel like the same.
Yeah, because it's quite energetic and quite pretty.
Yeah.
So maybe you're right. Yeah.
I think for adolescents, they might think the same way as well. We can say it as a positive way, like maybe they have a dream to become a singer or dancer. But I think for Chinese parents,
they don't want that to happen.
No.
Yeah, and then if you fall in one of the fandoms, you might be writing stories for them, like the fanfics.
Yes. Do you do that?
No, I don't have the talents to write.
Okay. Lots of young people are doing this right now.
Yeah, the fanfics and the online fictions.
Yes.
Like, I think fanfics are like you have the real characters and then you just write the fanfics based on them. The internet just creates opportunities for potential and future authors. Many of the C-dramas in recent years were actually based on online fictions. But, and then when Dodo was writing her story, she became a really popular author on these online platforms, online books platforms.
Yeah, she was quite talented.
Yeah, and then as soon when her mom finds that out, her mom gets really angry because she's writing story and not preparing for her Zhonghao.
It was really funny that her mom was trying to pretend one of her fans to spy on her.
Yeah, exactly. I think, that's very creative.
Yeah.
Do you think it is a good idea for Duo to write before Zhonghao?
Well, I don't know. Like, Zhonghao is quite important, obviously, in China. It is not appropriate when you have Zhonghao, you're still writing things that is not related to Zhonghao. But I think
so much of your time.
Yeah, but I think if you find something you really like, because our life is short, you should keep doing that. But I don't know. It's a good question.
Just make sure you know what is more important.
It depends. Like if you're Duoduo, if you're in her age, Or do you understand which one is more important? 中考 or
true.
Yeah, your dream, especially for adolescents, is like your dream means more than anything. Yeah.
True. That's a good question. I don't know. So to wrap it up, we discussed overseas studies and our own experiences. We also talked about the adolescents, why Asian parents worry so much on their early love relationships, their fandoms, or even writing online fictions. All the things that could distract you from your 中考 preparations.
All the things that Chinese parents sees as a nail in the eye.
Yeah. We kind of covered 2 slangs in this episode. This is not science. It means that something doesn't make sense or something isn't very logical. And 眼中钉, it means that something is under my eye that I really want to remove it.
Yeah, like something block your way.
Yeah. So, Ijo, what flavor do you think last week's episode and this week's episode are?
Sea salt caramel.
Sea salt caramel.
Salty life and sweet life.
Yeah, we'll go for that.
It's a mix of salty life, sweet life.
All right. So let us know. So what are the other types of C-dramas that you really enjoy? Comment. Just go comment.
Yeah, don't just type comment, because we have one of the users comment on under our comment. I was like, comment.
What a genius.
I was like, oh wow.
So comment what you want us to share. So then next week this person will be like, what you want us to share.
Oh my god.
All right, we'll see you next week. Bye.
See ya.